Hello, I am Mauricio Ordoñez from Colombia. I have a channel in Spanish that seeks to end superstition, and this is my first video trying to translate my theme into English. I hope it is legible the information that I intend to consign. Today I will discuss the subject of the prophecy described in the Bible, Isaiah, chapter 17, at the request of Valerie Colucci. In a commentary on my Prophecies 2017 video of my Spanish channel, she tells me read in the Bible, Isaiah chapter 17, and I respond that thanks, well Valerie, this video is the answer to your request. On April 6, 2017, the United States bombed an airbase of the Syrian government. The excuse was that the government in the hands of Bashar al-Assad 2 days before had attacked with chemical weapons a city controlled by rebels, its mandate, killing about 100 civilians. This being the first frontal attack of the United States against the Syrian government in the 6 years that this country takes inside a civil war. To make war you need at least 2 monsters. I do not remember who said these words, but fortunately for the consistency of his phrase, the world is full of monsters. But that's the theme for another video. Shortly after the American attack, believers in the Bible prophecies jumped to mention the book of Isaiah, chapter 17, verses 1 to 3, which read as follows. Prophecy on Damascus. Behold, Damascus will cease to be a city, and it will be a heap of ruins. The cities of Aurora are forsaken, they will sleep there, and none will make them afraid. And the relief of Ephraim shall cease, and the kingdom of Damascus shall cease. And what is left of Syria shall be as the glory of the children of Israel, saith the Lord of hosts. Yes, I know, it sounds like a lot of disconnected phrases, lacking a logical and precise message. But we are going to do it. This is the whole Bible. That happens when you are a god and you decide to transmit your message in languages as poorly structured as it is the ancient Hebrew. Now try to unravel the prophecy. The book of Isaiah is one of the books of the Jewish Tanakh, or the Old Biblical Testament, is attributed his writing to Mr. Isaiah ben Amoz, who is considered by both the Jews and the Christians the first prophet major, as already I have analyzed extensively in my videos of the contradictions, errors and lies of the Bible. These books are written by several people in different timelines, so I do not believe that the subject in question has written it. If you have not yet seen my series on the lies of the Bible, it is because I still do not translate those videos into English, but have a little patience, soon I will. Whoever wrote the prophecy does not affect its veracity. So whoever who wrote the book does not matter. Let's go back to when it was written. It is estimated that it was written between 750 and 650 before Christ. Most likely to be eventually would have added intermediate chapters by unknown authors. Proof of this chapters 1 to 12 are written as a witness in the form of a poem. 13 and 14 are written as narrative in the third person, and from 15 to 24, returns to the form of poem testimonial. The impossibility of locating the authors makes it very difficult to define the date on which the book was written, and therefore, it is impossible to establish a precise date of the prophecy through this means. But because it seems important to me to establish the date of the prophecy, basically because for a prophecy to be valid, it would have to be registered with sufficient time in advance, so that it cannot be projected from the socio-political knowledge of the region. For example, those who claimed they had visions of the United States in the war in Syria last year, actually only want to cheat us. They want us to attribute paranormal powers, when in fact they only consulted a little political analysis about the Syrian War the last 6 years. Today we know for sure that tarot, reading bones, reading hand palms, reading dice, reading tobacco, reading chocolate, reading the fire, astrology, horoscope and even art diviner to lick poisonous toads, are all false. Yet there are a lot of charlatans making a living out there with those activities. And what were those same activities 3,000 years ago? Because they were worse, basically because there was no way to disprove any of them. Now let us imagine that one of these charlatans at any period of time millennia ago sent a letter to the king of the apricot telling him how he had a prophetic vision where he won the war. At the same time he sent the same letter to the opposing king, but this one told him that Damascus would lose. The charlatan should only sit and wait for the war to end, with the consequence that king who possessed the wrong letter would be dead or imprisoned, and the king with the right letter would hire him to guess the future of the empire. Then he who wrote the book of Isaiah, having knowledge of the prophetic letter, was given to God and added the prophecy to the book of Isaiah. The best thing is that he would do it with good intentions. Now the serious question: the city of Apricot lost some war during the period in which the book of Isaiah was written. The answer is that the city of Apricot, where more or less today stands, along with the territory called Syria today, where more or less today is located, exist for more than 4,000 years. By the time it is presumed the book of Isaiah was written, those territories had been involved in dozens of wars, had already been invaded by Canaanites, Phoenicians, Arameans. But let us not be misunderstood. Supposing that those who wrote the book of Isaiah were honest, and indeed God was put in dreams and told them, the enemy of my people will destroy the city of Apricot. Well, is there a conflict that the city of Apricot lost after writing the book of Isaiah? The answer is no, not one, but tens of wars lost. For example, lost against the Assyrians in 732 BC. Lost against the Babylonians in 606 BC, lost against the Persians in the year 530, lost against the Greeks in the year 330 before Christ, lost to the Nabateans in the year 85 before Christ, lost to the Romans in the year 63 before Christ, lost to the Byzantines in the year 634 after Christ, lost to the Mamluks in the year 1250. A name that causes me amusement because in my country so we call certain clothing for babies. But believers in biblical prophecies insist that prophecy is being fulfilled now. Well, let's look at prophecy with our eyes on the present. First verse: Behold, Damascus will cease to be a city, and it will be a heap of ruins. By this verse we only know that the city of Damascus will be in ruins, but it is not specified that it is by war, unless it be by an internal war. Because what happens in Syria is that there is a civil war, that many others are taking advantage of for its interests, but the city of Damascus could be destroyed by an earthquake, or famine, or a meteorite. They notice the ambiguity of divination, typical of someone who wants to deceive and who believing that he has special knowledge, such as today's mentalist. Second verse: The cities of Aroer are forsaken, they will sleep there, and none will make them afraid. Aroer is a territory that today is located in the country Jordan and dates from the time in which it is presumed the book of Isaiah was written. This would not be enough proof that even if prophecy were real, it refers to something that happened millennia ago. Third verse: And the relief of Ephraim shall cease, and the kingdom of Damascus shall cease, and what is left of Syria shall be as the glory of the children of Israel, saith the Lord of hosts. Ephraim was one of the 12 tribes of Israel, Damascus was a kingdom, and Syria remained as the glory of the children of Israel. More and more ambiguities that can mean a lot of things. Which Ephraim does not help, could mean that the country of Israel no longer helps them, or could mean that the United States no longer helps them. Or it could mean that, as Syria is a mostly Muslim country, they no longer have the help of the God of Israel. That the kingdom of Apricot will fall, could mean that the ruler of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, will fall, or that the Damascus, capital of Syria, will fall, being another named capital, and the same applies for the fall of Syria. It is also not the first time that this prophecy is used for the current war in Syria. Here an article of 2011 where it is mentioned. Here an article of 2012 where it is mentioned. Here an article in 2013 where you will be mentioned. If you want to confirm, leave the links in the description. My conclusion: the true prophecies are only a statistical game. 99.9% of the prophecies are deceptive attempts. The Bible for possessing prophecies everywhere is probably 99.9% deception. The Syrians do not is going to save any God. All the responsibility for the deaths in that war rests with every one of the inhabitants of the planet, but as no one wants to leave our comfort zone, because the Syrians are fucked. If you want me to do the analysis of some other prophecy, let me know in the comments. Check the links that I leave in the description of the video. May someone interest you. Do not forget to subscribe to the page of Facebook and Twitter of my channel so we can contact directly, and subscribe and the bell to get notifications of my new videos. Thanks, bye.